Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Adam.
Welcome to Kaohsiung,
Thank
Taiwan, this energizing harbor city.
Yes.
I believe yesterday and today you have met most of the agents here.
I have. I was
How-
honored.
Yeah, how do you feel about them?
Oh, I'm so thankful that they're here to help with my research. I owe them my life, as you know. They helped me survive Linz, so I am very grateful that they continue to do the great work they do.
Oh, that's great to hear that. Okay, before the interview start, before we start discussing all the issues, I would like to introduce you about this organization, the Project Date-Maru, making a series of interview starting from years ago. Interview the 1218 Pierre Chapeau, then Hank, and later we have opportunity to talk to like Dr. Devra Bogdanovich, like Oliver Lindenwolf, like Jarvis, and also we had a chance, my colleague had a chance to talk to you in Linz. Okay, the project Date-Maru, actually Date-Maru is a Japanese phrase. It's I would say it's the first Spanish galleon type of ship, the first one built in Japan. And that ship was built by a famous lord. In Japanese, his title is daimyo. His name is Tate Masamune. So the ship name Date-Maru. The reason we choose this as a team name because the reason we built Date-Maru was built is for diplomatic and for culture circulation purpose. So I think it's part of the core benefit, a part of the core belief of Ingress. So it's a good name. Yeah, but again, you can call us Operation Essex, or you can call us Project Lyceum. I think both of them are correct because the team members from Date-Maru actually came from these two major investigator community.
Help me to say it correctly. Date-Maru.
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 Yes.
Okay.
Tate is Tate Masamune, Tate family.
Okay.
And Maru is the ending of most Japanese ship, something Maru, something Maru.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not expert,
Maru.
but that's
No.
most I see. So
You know so
the team
much.
is Date-Maru,
Okay.
Project Date-Maru. Okay.
Okay.
So
So thank you to Date-Maru. Thank you to Project Lyceum, and thank you to Operation Essex.
yes.
Yes.
Okay. So always we are curious why you come to Kaohsiung,
Yes.
to this harbor city.
Yes. Well, at Operation Kaohsiung, the recovery of the Osiris Stone triggered this anomaly. And here in Kaohsiung is the highest concentration of these shards of Enoch that I've been tracing, as well as these artifacts from this new mysterious glyph language. And I'm trying to discover why there's that connection, why the Osiris Stone triggered it here, and why those two high concentrations are also located here. Since becoming enlightened, I also am here to do my best to root for the enlightened to win the Osiris sequence.
I see. Yeah, I think don't worry about the faction. Date-Maru basically is a closed faction organization. We are much more focused on the truth and the facts behind the XM and all the mysterious. This target is much higher beyond the conflict between factions.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so for you, actually from my personal opinion, you are one of the brightest mind with the highest knowledge about glyph, and also you possess the most charming smile.
Oh, stop.
Okay.
I feel better.
Yeah, but unlike the other sensitive, other researchers, I think you are quite unique because not like the others, you don't have entanglement in this 1218 universe. Others, they have their equal in different universe, but in the 1218 universe here, it's sadly that the Carrie Campbell here sacrificed herself to save the humanity years ago, and with your survival from the Kaohsiung Prime event in Linz, now your life is very unique. You are not entangled, neither bounded by anything. So, what's your plan? What's your plan moving forward?
Well, I'm impressed that you think I'm so indomitable, but I would hesitate to agree. I am very worried about these new artifacts from this glyph language that I don't yet understand. As I mentioned yesterday to agents, that I don't believe these artifacts are put there by the shapers, but in fact by a non-exogenous force. And I believe this is a human force, and I don't think it's a benevolent one. The fact that they are all concentrated here around the same area where Enoch's shards have scattered most makes me feel that there's some plan, and I worry for my safety, and I'm worried about Enoch. I hope that we're able to find out how we can collect and recurse him.
Yeah, in fact, I agree your point, and this was also I think many investigators are worried about. You know, the recent from our world, it looked like animation, but actually there's no coincidence. To me, that's another universe. I think not only to me, to many investigators, that's another universe, reflect in a different way, like we are interacting with in a very unique way with Prime Universe. So your skier actually is quite similar to Sarah.
I just saw the anime.
And there's totally reasonable for some dark corporations trying to leverage this kind of knowledge, talent for their own purpose, for their own benefits. And well, I don't know if I should say that. That might be too aggressive, but we all know that there's an organization been focusing on the dark XM, handling the conflict material, and even they had been done trying to weaponize dark XM.
Unfortunately.
So, are you also worrying about that organization?
I mean, it's a constant worry. I've recently come to some revelations that inspire me to stay away from dark XM as much as possible. I'm thankful that most of my research is committed to XM proper, but I can't disclose too much more of the research surrounding the dark XM.
Understand. Okay. In Tokyo, not long ago, the Darsana Prime the Anomaly, our colleague had a chance to talk to Roland Jarvis. Yeah, and we asked him about the what's the meaning of ultimate and ultimate. Jarvis has been merged, infused with the ultimate. And when we try to ask him to explain the ultimate to us, here's quoting his words that he mentioned in his word that XM comes to all worlds through this dimension. That's the ultimate he mentioned. Okay, through this dimension, and at the same time from the same source. So what do you think the source may be? Is it Shaper, Unzia, or a collective existence of both of them, or none of them?
Well, XM proper comes only from an XM substrate. And that substrate, within that, there is only the signal from the shapers. So I'm getting no signals from these other forces that you mentioned, like the Inzir, within this XM. And that XM substrate is constant across all of these universes, and many of the Niantic researchers, I think, agree with this theory that in fact these universes are simultaneous, but because of the limits of our perception, we're seeing them follow one after another. So that is why the source is constant and similar in all of the universes. In terms of the Inzir, I believe that their signal is only coming through dark XM. And if Hank Johnson's research is correct, and I have lots of faith in him, he's talked about how Alexander the Great and Magnus 13 had a decisive victory over the Inzir in the past. And we believe that, in fact, that's why we don't see as much XM, because those forces have been turned down from that victory in the past. So we're only seeing a majority of XM.
So you refer the word XM substrate.
Mm-hmm.
So do you expect there's any other substrates providing any different kind of maybe different type of energy or anything?
Well, that's a great question. XM, again, is a term that is very general. There's so much we don't know about it. It's simply just exotic matter. So maybe we haven't yet discovered more differences in what we're seeing, but currently I'm only familiar with, and I can imagine that maybe there are other substrates, but I'm only familiar with the XM property substrate.
I see. So as you just mentioned about the dark XM, still I know you're trying to avoid that, but still, do you find any signal, any pattern, any I would say glyph-like message or language? Okay, I remember your comment. Language may not be the best thing to describe glyph, but please allow me to use
Sure.
it. I don't have a proper word. So
Right.
do you think any kind of different language or message hiding inside the dark XM?
I would say, here's the thing. There is the language that I've been able to measure most in regular XM. What confuses me is that the same time that Enoch Dalby shattered into shards was the same time that we had an explosion of dark XM. And I'm experiencing this mysterious new language, but it is in regular XM. So, I am convinced that new language is, like the forces in dark XM, malevolent. I don't know if they're connected. I personally don't trace lots of signal coming from the XM. I don't study much in Zir. So that's about the most that I can tell you that I don't know, and there's still much to learn.
I see. So, is there any, back to your best area of knowledge, is there any breakthrough for the glyph you're studying? I mean or anything else inside XM? Mm-hmm. Of course, it will not be a chocolate or ice cream, whatever, but anything also like the source, the origin of the glyph language.
Right. Well, I'd particularly like to focus on this new glyph language that's coming through proper XM. And Pierre Chapeau has done lots of investigation into this, and I feel confident with the bit that he's found so far. He's been talking about an organization called Nemesis. Now, I don't know if this is the same group that has planted these artifacts in the portal networks, but the more and more work that I see the agents do here, I start to put two and two together. So I can't say anything yet, but I think that Nemesis might be somehow connected with the new glyphs that we're seeing, and I don't know if it's a plan that I am having trouble decoding them, or if they hope that I do ultimately understand the signal. I hope that I am around to keep investigating the signal. I have felt not quite safe of late since learning about Nemesis, and I've just been so close to Enoch. Enoch is the reason I first was onboarded to the Niantic research project, and I wouldn't have been able to have value expressing all of the visions that I saw while he was making his music, without him. I wouldn't have been able to offer these visions to NIA without Enoch. So the fact that he is now in shards, I start to fear for my own safety.
I see. Yeah, one quick question. You mentioned in Linz that you are a synesthetic XM. So what does it affect your usual life? This is quite interesting.
Yeah. Well, it is very strange, and when I first truly discovered it, it was almost like, have you ever put on those psychedelic glasses and every light sparkles? Instead of having glasses, when I hear music, certain objects appear in my visual field. And thanks to friends and some researchers at the lab, I started to differentiate reality from visions. But it is pretty trippy, and there are certain sounds that spark it more than others, and I've gotten accustomed to it, and in one sense it's quite fascinating, and in other ways it can be scary because I don't have control over the visions that I see. It's something I live with.
So that means in the beginning you might also have scared the freak out of your friends and family.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah, actually, I've been watching the some recent news shared by Pierre Chakou, your two sketches. Yeah, I think when Enoch turned into shard, according to the information you shared with Asians last evening, that he was disturbed when transforming the
Yeah. So maybe I should explain what simulacrum are. Simulacra. So Enoch was a simulacrum, and what this means is his body is preserved and protected somewhere else, and he is a reconstituted version of himself, or he was. Simulacra have the potential to recurse or become reborn should they die. So in fact, they have a sense of immortality. After 1,331 days, they lose their memories and reconstitute if they haven't died by any other condition. And it was a total surprise, but again, no accident that Enoch Dalby died when he did. Now, I'm very impressed that someone actually has video footage of the moment that this happened at the anime premiere. I'm absolutely shocked that he didn't recurse, and he is only in shards. And I've been withholding this information. Again, I don't know if you were getting to this, and I'm hesitant to talk about this in public. But in fact, we also have recent news that all of the NIA researchers are also simulacra. So if Enoch didn't make it through his recursion, then what could happen to the rest of us? I feel like we're in a vulnerable state right now, and any help that the agents can offer, I'm grateful.
Yeah, I think we will know more during the anomaly today.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
think so. Yeah, the work here is very important.
Yeah, but did you witness that event?
I did not.
Oh,
I only
see.
saw the video footage. I was at the premiere earlier than he was. He stayed late to DJ.
Yeah, I saw your other message, your sketch, but with our best wishes, I think you don't have to worry, because I think your bond with Enoch Dalby is not by this mental world, not by material. It's much more a spiritual connection.
I think you're right. I've been hearing music from him even as he's in shards. I guess what worries me is I'm not able to communicate back, and I just want to know that he's all right.
So you don't have to worry. I think you can recognize each other, no matter what may be.
Thanks for your faith.
And I got another quick question for
Yes.
you. What do you see Osiris Stone? Okay, I make a quick explain that from our past knowledge, things like Osiris Stone, we call it if prime object. And prime object is a kind of object existing cross-dimensional and holds magnificent power if you know how to trigger it. So how do you look at Osiris Stone, and what do you think, what makes it so special?
I know so little about the Osiris Stone, so I'm afraid I don't have too much of an answer for you. What does confuse and worry me is that we haven't heard from Hank and the other TKO operatives since Colon, and I think that P.A. Chapeau has this understanding that the group Nemesis also took down one of our flights on the way to Colon, and this makes me really nervous about their connection with the Osiris Stone and why that recovery of the object has triggered this anomaly. I'm worried, but I have very little information on the Osiris Stone.
I see. So also you just mentioned about the potential 1331 day, the recursion of simulacra. So are you preparing anything facing your potential risk?
Yeah, well, as you know, I'm an avid sketcher, and I'm constantly measuring everything that I sketch when I have my visions. So those books I'm protecting as much as possible, and I'm a regular diarist. So I'm keeping all of these diaries and sketches and measurements together and hoping that I can plant them somewhere that the next Carrie might discover, so that those memories can be replenished. Yes.
Got it. Yeah, I think there's always so many questions, but so little time. I know your schedule in Taiwan is very tight, but on behalf of the team, we appreciate your precious time taking the interview. And the last note is from Operation Nexus, from Lyceum, from Date-Maru team, and even from all the investigators, we're concerned about your safety.
Thank you.
At this moment,
I
please
feel
be
protected
careful.
here. Thanks.
Please be careful.
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
谢谢.
Thank you.
Thank
谢谢.
Cheers.